In this video, we are going to be taking a look at JUnit grouped assertions. So I'm going to pick on the person object here, and this is just a POJO that we use for persistence in the actual project. I'm going to come in, do Option, Enter, and create test. And I'm not going to need anything, so I'm just going to create a very plain test, like so. And I hit Command N there, and I am going to do a test method. Call that grouped assertions. And let's, we'll follow a little BDD. Given, usually do given when then, but we're not testing any particular action here. So let's come up with a, so create a person object called Joe Buck with a log of 1 for the ID. So now what we can do is we can use the assert all function, and that likes a string. So we'll go and test that. And now what it wants is a series of assertions, and actually a series of lambdas. So we can come in here like so, and say assert equals. Now we can also do the next one. Clean that up a little bit. So you can see here, it takes in a heading, so test property set, and then we could list out as many lambda expressions as we need in this list. So it's just a simple list. You can see comma hiding out right here. It's a kind of an odd syntax if you're not used to it. And now let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. You can see that passes. Now let's make this fail. Actually, I'm gonna give you another version to reference. Let's do this, and we'll call this. Now let's say that this one's going to fail, so let's go ahead and run that. And take a close look at what's down here, and you see multiple fails, error, test prop set, 1 failure, Joe, but was Joe 2. Now if we come in and we can do here, say first name failed. Now if we run this again, we can see that we're getting first name failed. And just to prove that this actually runs, add in another here. So we'll get this other one to run. And now you can see we have test prop set. So that's abbreviation for properties. So you can see that listed in the test output, saying that there's 2 failures. And now we have the message and the expected and actual. Again, message, expected, and actual. So this is a real nice test output, especially if you're dealing with a type conversion, you have a dozen properties on an object. This would be really nice to have to be able to test all these things together. So I'm going to clean this up and get this back to passing before I check it in. And let's run this again. And we'll run all the tests, just make sure that everything's running. So again, the top one there, we are just doing assert all, passing in 2 lambda expressions. And then in the second one, I'm showing you how you can also do that. Just to recap, it's going to look for a string to give it a name for the output, and then a list of lambda expressions, and then you can do the different assertions there for each lambda expression. So it works out really well. This is something that's really handy for doing a test where you're doing numerous assertions, and it makes the test and the test failures, more importantly, very readable. Hey guys, a quick addition to this video here, a correction that I need to make. The values here are actually transposed. So if you look at line 16, where it says assert equals person get first name, and then the string value of Joe, these should be actually flipped around. So the expected value should come first, and then followed by the test value. So it should read assert equals Joe, comma, person, get first name. So that's the way this test should be. So it should be the expected and then actual test value. Very, very common mistake to make. Obviously, I do it frequently. I try not to. Technically, it should be transposed like that. That's why I'm pointing it out. In reality, you will see people make this mistake quite commonly. It's not critical, not like a major flaw. It's more of an inconvenience because if those values don't match, the test still fails. So the test will still function with those values transposed. It just affects the output message. So technically they should be flipped. That's why I'm pointing it out. But I decided to leave it in to highlight that it's an easy mistake to make, and people will make this mistake. But at the end of the day, the test will still function the same. So that's why I decided to leave it in and point it out like this. So technically, again, those two values should just be transposed. At the end of the day, the test will still work the same way.